writing style and the flow in Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volume 1 is very similar to James Fenimore Cooper's famous The Last of the Mohicans. It too emphasizes natural beauty, individuality, real emotions, and stresses the inherent goodness of humanity. It too fills with suspense, surprise, characters' mistakes becoming amazing lessons. And all through the spellbinding tale there are vivid descriptions and exciting plots. If you are fed up with hatred and hungry for harmony, then enter a world where Cherokees, Irish, Germans, and colonial soldiers transcend the trauma and heartache of the Trail of Tears, the American Civil War, and Ireland's potato famine. They soar, like eagles, above the storms of resentment, to the unlimited heights of extraordinary peace. Just look at the unity and diversity principles they learn together. Skin color is forgotten. Religion is oneness of God. Wisdom is found in young and old. Men and women are treated equally. Wealth is shared, not hoarded. Their tantalizing tale is a vibrant tapestry of history, multiculturalism, romance, soul-searching, nature, and lots of action. Even 5 years after the merciless massacre, a young Cherokee, First Light, still mourns. She asks herself over and over, can I stop hating white people? If I choose hatred over harmony, the massacred Cherokee's spirits stay trapped where the dogs run. A lonely, empty space between Mother Earth and heaven. Young Irish immigrant Connor Bradagain hates being a colonial soldier, torn between duty and finding his true love. He laments, I need to get a hold of myself. First Light's brown. Girls are supposed to be as white as snow. She 'tis beautiful, but she's a wild banshee. Living in harmonious unity in diversity becomes easier every time they and the others take part in each Cherokee 7 sacred ceremony, Oktoberfests, Christmases, and weddings. And now, here's Joanne, sharing excerpts from Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1. I'll be back after that to tell you about Joanne.
Hey, and now for some excerpts from my Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1. I just want to mention I've done probably a dozen or so book reading sessions, here in Australia. And they usually go for about an hour. And that's what book readings by well-renowned authors usually go for, about an hour. But I won't do that to you. First of all, I'm not a renowned author, and I don't want to bore you. So I've managed to condense it to 30 minutes. And so that was a tough task, seeing as how Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1, has 720 pages. But I hope you will glean from it my writing style, and you will see how I handle the characters' very vibrant voices, in the story. And so, right. Now, the excerpts will just be that. Snippets, not entire scenes, okay? Anyway, what else was I going to say? Radio. Now, just to give it a little bit of aesthetics, I'm going to try something that I've done before. A couple of my book reading sessions have been outdoors and around a campfire on a full moon's night, especially in outback Queensland. But we can't do that. So instead, I've just got here a bit of, I'm going to put in a campfire's sound, the hissing, the popping, the crackling sound of a blazing fire. That'll be in the background. Okie dokie. All right. let's see. Okay, are we ready for this? Let me get it started. I've got to start the fire first. Just a minute. I'll be stopping now and then to have a sip of tea, okay? Okay, here we go. It's a stifling dawn in the moon of the green grass up, or summer in 1838. An 11-year-old Cherokee, first light, springs to her feet. There is no time to dress. There is no time to put on her elk-skin boots. Soldiers ride into the village from every direction, yelling like barbarians. Fear chills every inch of her tiny, naked body. She flies out of her family's hut like a hummingbird caught in a fire. All of her body tenses with fear. Her lips even pinch tightly as she tells herself over and over, I'm only 11. I can't die. Fiendish flames devour 6 pine trees to her left. Oh, Great Spirit, 6 trees. There's 6 in my family. Will the soldiers burn us too? She yanks at her long, ruddy brown hair in self-inflicted penance and tosses some of it over her face, futilely trying to hide from her gnawing guilt. Oh, Great Spirit, punish me for disobeying Father. Don't add more harm to my family and to all the Cherokee people. Oh, Great Spirit, you can do anything. Make these attacking soldiers go away. She haphazardly staggers right and then left. I hear you, Great Spirit. Yes, I'll do that. She pretends she's racing her 3 older brothers, and that makes her zip through the field of towering maize or corn. I need more guidance, Great Spirit. Once in a clearing, First Light thinks, should I stay here where it's safe, or even run to the forest where I'm safer? I'm just a little girl. How am I supposed to know what to do? As sure, the Great Spirit brings her a sign. 2 ducks and their 4 ducklings lackadaisically waddle across her path, heading back to the burning village. She quaveringly sighs and whispers, I see your message, Great Spirit. I'm not supposed to run away. I'm supposed to run back. Thank you. Yes, I hear my ancestors. Her words growl, I am from Mother's wolf clan. We are brave. We are strong. I will not surrender to you, you mean smoke, or to you, you mean soldiers. Here's a sample of my effort to paint with words. It's a crispy, chilly autumn's dawn in 1843, or as the Cherokees call it, moon of the yellow leaves. A tranquil mist camouflages 15 makeshift log huts, nestled in the wilderness of Pine Bluff, Arkansas. The majestic pine trees stand tall and tight together, like sentries on guard day and night. Towering bluffs, gigantic boulders, and thick brush fortify this band of 75 Cherokees' temporary hideaway. So much plagues these 75 Cherokees. Why did our Cherokee 7 clans make that fatal mistake? Why did they choose to fight side by side with the British in the white people's War of Independence? Why didn't our 7 clans see that the white people would chase us far west of the Father of Waters, which they call the Mississippi River? But these tired, thirsty, and hungry Cherokees have not forgotten the moon of the green grass up, the summer of 1833, and the words of their chief Doubleheart. Many white people are swarming like bees to honey throughout our homeland. The gold that fills our great Cherokee land siphons the whites' fierce and merciless greed. As soon as their big boats came, Many of our people became slaves, working their own lands for the whites' wealth. With a quaking voice, he read from a frayed newspaper. 2/3 of our people have died since Columbus's boats first landed in what they call America. That General Winfield Scott was ordered by the president to round us up and march us to what they call the Indian Territory. They are penning us up in Oklahoma, the land of the red people. Oh, Great Spirit, as I slept I heard your words, Nuna Dua Suni. So many soldiers still make us journey the trail where they cried. Why don't white people remember we saved them from starvation when they first came to our land? For 200 years we've tried to live alongside the white people, but all that has done is tear-stained our hearts and bled our pride. Why don't they stop and think? No, why don't they stop and feel how awful that would be if it happened to them? They've been forcing us to pack up our lives as if nothing more than a handful of pebbles or empty walnut shells to shove in our pockets. His face illuminated with brilliant pride. They forget. We are one with the deserts, plains, forests, and rugged mountains. He stared at his leathered fingers. The cacti and the wildflowers are our fingers. The tall green and yellow grass are a part of us, as is our hair. The trees are us standing tall and proud. The hills, plateaus, and mountains are our very legs. The streams, rivers, and lakes are our very blood. Gonna stop for a sip of tea. And here's one of the many scenes that portrays the Cherokees' devoted spiritualism. First Light deeply communes every sunrise with the Great Spirit and with her ancestors. She swishes her nose and then her lips and then her high cheeks across the feather-filled bed mat. I sleep on my bed mat filled with you, my bird friends, so I'll feel your powers all day. Like you, tiny finches, I'll escape the tiny problems of today. She tugs at her 3 eagle feathers. The eagle's mighty grace will help me find a way to soar to freedom. She covers her face with her family's colorful woven blanket. Yes, ancestors, every dawn, we together honor Mother Earth as we say together, the red color is for the East, reminding us to live in harmony. The yellow color is for the South, teaching us about harmony. The black color is for the West, reminding us harmony is as life-giving as is water. The white color is for the North, telling us to keep harmony lit in our spirit. This next excerpt portrays when the 2 teenage main characters first meet. First Light, a Cherokee girl, she's 16, and Private Connor Bradigan, the Irish immigrant, is 18. They're at a standoff, both hunched over, with their hands out, ready to grapple and wrestle like a pair of bears. He spins her around, slams her back into his chest. His words are hot against her sweaty neck. Be Jesus, wee Colleen, settle yourself. She blinks a few times. Why does this one white man talk like he's singing? He yanks her wrist, forcing their cheeks to slam together. His words spray. Me offer of me hand, 'twas only to lift ye off the ground, ye wee slip of savagery. You tried to reshape me bullocks. But Jesus, wee Colleen, why'd you do that? 'Twas a gentleman I was being to yourself. And here's a sample of how Private Connor Bradigan, the old Irishman, shows off his very Irish skills at storytelling. He has all the others captivated as he tells them about his voyage from Ireland to America back when he was 14. Aye, over those 29 days, the sweet Savannah's engines ran some 85 hours. She used up her 75 short tons of coal and 25 cords of wood. Aye, she 'twas one of those fine new-fangled clipper steamships. Aye, for a ship such as she to unfurl her enormous sails in the nick of time to be catching only the finest of winds. And for the side paddles to be fed with such massive loads of coal and wood. Then he juts out his chin. Now I be asking you, who be climbing the mast? Who be crawling out to set the sails free? Who with all their strength pulled in the gigantic jib? Who shoveled the tons of coal and cords of wood? You boys best be answering that correctly, or you'll have me to deal with. He waits a few seconds. Then with his chest puffed up like a balloon, you pack of fools! It was the Irishmen and the Germans who did that fine, ever-tenacious toiling. With pompous pride he snaps his suspenders. Think, boyos, about what I'm saying to you. There tain't no cogs and wheels that can match the spirit of a man's will to reach freedom and opportunity. He grimaces. We Irish had hundreds of years of dreadful strife, and so did the hard-working Germans, with little to show for it. We were all burred up to make good our lives. Ah, the first 2 weeks, aye, 'tweren't they ever so fine? Clear skies, good winds for the sails. With a snicker he adds, aye, the sea? It also looked like the biggest glass of fine ale, too, boyos. Let me tell you, lads, there twere many a fair colleen on that voyage. He wags his finger into each of their dumbfounded faces, but most seemed to be a husband hunting, if you know what I mean. So many had run away from their families, tired of having to look after their wee brothers and sisters. But like I said, there twere some pretty girls aboard, to be sure. Grant interjects with a chuckle. Don't you leave the finer details out on your voyage. Tell us about your adventures with those girls. Connor smirks. If you be referring to whether or not I put me church key in any of them vixens, I'd be telling you the truth. No, I didn't have the slightest such inclination. My face may well have been peach fuzz, but I just knew those pretty colleens be ripe for mothering a wee one. Meaning ripe to catch a boy in their web. You know, the one between their so inviting soft thighs. There 'twasn't any way I was going to arrive in Boston, a part of me. But dance with him, to be sure I did. For there 'twere fiddles, guitars, pipes, and tambourines and such a playing all night. Now, Cherokees seek what they call animal medicine. They believe the Great Spirit brings insects, reptiles, and animals into their days to teach them lessons, to guide them as to what to do that day. So here's one of the many such scenes where the Cherokees, and even, get this, their friends, the white people, start paying attention to. The Great Spirit leads First Light straight to a little squirrel trying to climb a slippery, moss-covered boulder. In sheer doggedness, it hoists its tiny body many times up, but each time it slides and tumbles down. Then it stands tall and proud, with its little paws together, beckoning First Light to watch. I'm watching you, clever squirrel. Teach me, First Light whispers. You're like me, tiny on the outside, but so big with strength on the inside. With a perky bounce, it scampers amongst the underbrush right beside the moss-slicked boulder. With its head down and tail up, the squirrel rummages. Then it stands on its haunches, hoisting up a huge acorn, as if to tell her, see, our Great Spirit always rewards us when we don't give up. Just like the squirrel, First Light also scampers down a ravine full of undergrowth, and that takes her to a babbling stream so she can at last sit in solace, hidden from the soldier guards. Then there's another time when First Light pays attention to the animal medicine. First Light closes her eyes and hears her father. She murmurs, "I know, Father, you are guiding me." At that moment, she hears a ruffled or a male grouse drumming its wings on a hollow log. At first, he moves his wings slowly, making it a low, slow-paced thumping sound. But within seconds, he moves his wings 5 times faster and makes his drumming twice as loud. "Of course, Father, I am stuck in the grouse medicine. My thinking has been flying around and around in a circle, just like the grouse bird sometimes flies. I keep going over and over that horrible dawn massacre. My thinking must break out of it, spiraling around and around in that sadness, anger, and hatred. I must be like the eagle, fly my thinking above all those useless thoughts. Only then can I even begin planning how to find a new Cherokee land." Next is a snippet from one of the many action scenes. One sunrise, it's the little boys, Little Bear and Black Eyes, running and screaming through the snow-buried camp. "We found a white buffalo, wake up!" Long before they left the village, they decided guns would be used in this traditional hunt only if absolutely necessary. Each hunter has specially marked his arrows and spears to identify which hunter kills the prized buffalo. Consumed with frenzied enthusiasm, the hunters and the women leap out of their thick blankets, desperately trying to pull their legs through the 5-foot deep snow, waving their spears, bows, and arrows. The men drape themselves in their wolf-skin disguises. Everyone runs with fury. Their horses' galloping sounds like thunder. Then, about a half a mile before the white buffalo, the hunters dismount, and in their wolfskins, they silently stalk. The fast pounding of their hearts could start an avalanche. The buffalo's excellent sense of smell makes up for its poor eyesight. In everyone's mind, there is fear that it can already smell them. Connor, Frederick, Tom, Robert, and the colonel have never seen a buffalo up close. Their hearts skip many a beat the closer they move to the massive muscle-bulging beast. To them, it's a huge snow-white mountain. Even with the freezing coldness in the air, all the hunters' faces drip with sweat. Holding their breath, closer and closer, they take each heavy step through the snow. Then, just about 30 feet before the gigantic white beast, crouch the frightened but so exhilarated hunters. Their arms quiver from so tensely holding their readied spears and bows. Connor and Tall Tree are the closest to the buffalo. They approach it from behind. All looks quite safe. Then the buffalo snorts aggressively and turns its gigantic head around, eyeing the supposed wolves. It snorts again, louder and longer, giving them his last warning, "Leave me alone now." His leg lifting, one foot then the other, becomes quicker and quicker. It slowly lowers its head until its chin's only a few inches off the snowy ground. All know that this buffalo has as much know-how as any good general or any brave warrior. Then its eyes become like stormy black clouds about to break loose. Its cold-hearted onyx eyes heartlessly target Connor. Connor feels his heart pounding in his throat. He's frozen in fear. Tall Tree shoots his arrow. Connor quickly shoots his arrow. All the others shoot their arrow. The buffalo lets out an ear-piercing, bellowing sound as if shouting curse words at its annoying hunters. That makes the novice frontiersman's knees knock, rattling every bone in their bodies. It's a standoff. The buffalo snorts its defiance. It will do anything to survive. The hunters ignore the fear rattling them. All that pumps through their hearts and minds is, we must get this buffalo. Tall Tree knows. In the next split second, that buffalo will charge and nothing and no one can stop it. It is a ton-load of a train with no need for tracks. In absolute franticness, Tall Tree screams, "Get to your horse now!" As if all time and motion slowed to stillness. Tall Tree memorizes the buffalo's next ever so idling, but so deliberate, relentless hind leg lifts. It lifts its left, then its right, each just once. Tall Tree knows it could be too late. "You've got to get back to your horse." Before he finishes that last warning word, the monstrous buffalo breaks into a full-on charge, right for Connor. Connor hollers his most pleading prayer, "Be Jesus' legs, fly through the snow." He glances over his shoulder. Everyone screams, "Don't look back, just run, Connor, run." He yells, "Be Jesus, I swear the ground's trembling." From somewhere, deep in his soul, comes another prayer, one he has never said before. He feels that he's almost become part Cherokee. His voice booms, nearly deafening all of heaven. "Great Spirit, make me legs like an elk's legs." All scream, "Hurry, Connor." It takes all of Pierre and Black Eye's strength to pin First Light into the snowy ground. She's more than prepared to run into the path of the raging buffalo. She pleads, "Someone hurry! Get his horse to him! Tom, use a gun! Someone kill it!" Tom tries to get a good aim, but with his horse fiercely gallops, jolting him high above his saddle. Then, bang! Bang! No, it's still charging. Now it's charging straight for Tom. He screams, "The earth is moving under me feet, sweet Jesus." The buffalo angrily snorts just a foot off of Tom's horse. Tom panics. Tom's panic triples as he feels the buffalo's hot breath on the back of his neck. He yells at his hard-breathing horse, "But Jesus, run faster!" And I'll leave you with that and not finish that action scene. As you know, the theme that runs through this novel is how these amazing multicultural characters develop a new way of living together called unity and diversity, where they don't see skin color, where religion is one God. Men and women are treated equally. Wisdom comes from young and old. And wealth is not hoarded but shared. I'm not sharing any excerpts to show how they manage to change in those ways. I'll leave that for you to discover as you read the novel. The purpose of this book reading of excerpts is just to give you a taste of the writing style and the voice of the characters. So here we go. It's my last section of excerpts, okay? Okay. There are many scenes showing the Cherokees' 7 sacred ceremonies. Very interesting. You know, there's 7 of them. And wait till you read how these multicultural characters so uniquely share the Germans' Oktoberfest, Christmas, and other German, Irish, and colonial American traditions, how they kind of changed them up a little bit so that everybody has a part in it. But for now, here are bits and pieces of how they share just one of the 7 sacred Cherokee ceremonies. This is the one called Great New Moon Ceremony. Okay, tall tree yelps and then shouts from the forest, "The Great Spirit has given us a deer." Once it's bled, the squaws skin and prepare the meat for drying and preserving. But they save one part for something special. Charlotte pales and stammers, "I want to learn the Cherokee traditions, but I don't know if I can eat that." First Light chuckles, "No, we'll burn the deer's tongue as part of the ceremony. We won't eat it." Then First Light adds, "Charlotte, I like your idea for our new kind of ceremonial shakers, filling the dried animal bladders and gourds with pebbles instead of using turtle shells. It takes the men a full day to clear all the rocks to make a flat surface for the stomp dance that happens later. They get together and they're getting together to make what's needed for stickball, a game they'll play. The ball is made by everybody taking a little bit of horsehair and bird feathers from their bed mats and putting it together into form a ball wrapped in deerskin. And they find some fairly soft wood that they steam to make the sticks that they'll hit the ball with, and they curve it at the end. Yeah, it's like lacrosse. Now back to the excerpt. Black Crow smiles at everyone. "Well, what are we waiting for? We've waited so many years to at last sit under our own clan's arbors." Black Crow had made 7 arbors with the symbols for the 7 clans. "So much wisdom is waiting for us. Our clan's ancestors have so much to tell us. Come on." He lets out the most contented exhale as he sits Indian style under the arbor that represents his family's clan. "Ah, I'm really home." His clan is the Bird Clan, and they're known to always send messages from the Great Spirit to the people. Black Crow says, "Because we've created a new oneness, I know our Great Spirit won't mind us changing our ancient ceremony just a little. Our Irish and German friends will place some of the 7 sacred woods in the Great New Moon Ceremony's sacred fire. Our dear Irish friend, you will bring 2 kinds of kindling, pine and hickory. Pine will help all of us let go of our past, with all its confusion, doubts, regrets, failings, mistakes, hatred, and warring ways of talking and behaving. Hickory will burn impatience out of us. It will keep us connected to nature in a loving, respectful, reverent, and protective way." Black Crow says, "And for you, our 2 German friends, sweet Charlotte, you're blessed with a baby growing inside you. You'll bring 2 kindlings, oak and maple. Oak will make endurance and strength fill all of us as we make this new homeland founded on true harmony, even though we are from different lands. And Charlotte, you'll also bring maple. It will ignite in our minds, hearts, and spirits with a blazing effort to grow into the best versions of ourselves. And Frederick, indeed, you and all of us have felt the pain of disappointment. Your disappointment was when you learned that digging for gold in this America, this Turtle Island, only makes white people greedy and mean. So the 2 kindlings you'll bring are cedar and birch. Cedar and birch will keep hopelessness, doubt, and feeling defeated out of our minds, hearts, and spirits." Next, Black Crow tells everyone to find kindling that they each feel has the spirit of their heritages. Connor adds willow. We Irish have had to bend and to bow to our past conquerors, or we'd starve. Charlotte and Frederick add oak. She says, we Germans believe it takes strength and hard work to reach our goals and dreams. First Light has an armful of wood. I bring all 7 sacred firewood, for I am Cherokee, and the power of each of the 7 woods is what makes us Cherokees. Black Crow says, Connor, Frederick, One Feather, and Coyote Hal, you will start the next part of our ceremony of the great new moon. I am giving each of you a stick, a straight stick, painted a certain color. Connor, your stick is red, so we will have success. We will build a new world founded on harmony. Frederick, yours is blue. That will defeat hatred. One Feather, yours is black, to honor what Mother Earth is doing right this very day, and that is bringing autumn to its peaceful death. Coyote Hal, yours is yellow, to help us always seek the upper world, or as you call it, heaven's messages. Now, to light our great new moon ceremonial fire. For long, reverent moments, all they hear are the gentle crackling, popping, and hissing of the lit kindling in the sacred fire. As the fire grows bigger, each person's face shines brighter and fills with a very devoted and peaceful smile. Black Crow then says, it's time for the cleansing or going to water. You will dunk yourselves 7 times in the lake. When all return to the sacred fire, he shares more Cherokee traditions. We Cherokees have a Bible, but it isn't written on paper. It is called the Kituwa. The words were and will always be passed on by word of mouth, but we feel the spirit of those words are woven into 7 wampum belts. Excuse me. He sadly drops his head. Where our Kituwa, our Bible is, only our great Cherokee chief, Double Heart, knows. There are long moments of silence as each Cherokee is sad, not knowing if their great chief is still alive and not knowing where the 7 wampum belts, their Kituwa, their Bible is. Then Black Crow continues. The Kituwa was only shown on rare occasions. The belts were old and made of pearls and shells, woven with seaweed from the Gulf of Mexico. It is very much like the white people's Bible as far as what it teaches. A tear cascades down his cheek. All we can do is pretend we have the Kituwa here with us now. Connor chokes back tears and can barely speak above a whisper, for he, like the other white people, know they are choked with their shame. He mutters to them, we think that white people scattered those sacred wampum belts to perhaps never to be found. Connor, Charlotte, and Frederick each have the same dreadful thought. What if all the world's Bibles disappeared? What if a conqueror took all their Bibles away, like what's been done to these Cherokees? How horrible would that be? Black Crow gives the 3 a forgiving smile and begins to recite words from the Kituwa. We must love each other. We must love all living things. We must not speak bad of others. We must respect and obey our parents and all elders. And Black Crow asked Connor to find excerpts from the Bible and read it to them. Each expert mirrors what Black Crow shares from the Cherokee's Kituwa, again radiating the truth. There is only one God. Midday, they play stickball. It's like lacrosse. Then comes their feast, and everybody pitches in. I won't bother to list what they eat. After that feast, the sacred pipe is lit. As Black Crow lights the pipe, the sacred pipe, he explains, "We are an unbroken circle of red heart, people around this sacred fire, making the Great Spirit's presence powerful." He looks at everybody and says, "North, blue, or winter is the spirit of peace and the spirit of us really knowing our hearts. South, white, or summer, or corn stands for happy children and having successful hunting. East, red, or spring stands for dawn or new beginnings. West, black, or autumn stands for death or the shadow of the Great Spirit. It means, it stands for God." He takes his 7 puffs, naming each of the 7 sacred directions. I won't bother giving them to you. Then, out of respect, he passes the pipe to First Light, because the Wolf Clan is always the first clan to take 7 puffs. Then each of the 5 other clans, including the White Friends, take their puffs, and Black Crow takes the 7 puffs for his clan and for his wife's clan. Then Connor, Frederick, and Charlotte each take his or her 7 puffs. With the sky dazzling with stars, the festive mood heightens. The first round of the stomp dance begins, first with all the men. The song leader, Tall Tree, calls the lead shaker, who's First Light, to join in the dance. Tall Tree sings as he dances and stomps. "In this place here tonight, we are walking. Now sing while we go into the air." First Light repeats what he says as she stomps in step with him. Tall Tree chants right in step. "Dance, hurry, turtle, 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 hurry, hurry, turtle." The dancers go around the sacred fire in a counterclockwise direction with their hearts and left hands toward the sacred fire. The stomp dance is a slow, shuffling stomp of the feet, one after the other. Stomp right, stomp left, stomp right, stomp left. The sights and the sounds reach deep into everyone's soul and stirs something from within each dancer's hearts. They dance until they're tired and rejoin the dance when they're rested, and it goes on all through the night. I want to thank you for listening to these excerpts of my Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volume 1. And let me get my thoughts together here. Now, what's going to happen? Chris is back to tell you a little bit about me. And I'll be back with some news. And then we'll wrap it up. Just a little spoiler alert. I couldn't leave it at that as far as Volume 1. So, yep. I have written and have ready to get onto Amazon later on Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volume 2 and Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volume 3. Yep, this covers about 200 years, this trilogy. It kind of goes from 1833, goodness gracious, to about 2017 or so. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again, and now here's Chris, and I'll be back, though, to also tell you where this novel is available. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Joanne E. Galliher is a very enthusiastic fiction writer. Known for her compelling narratives and unique insights into the human experience. One of her 30-plus short stories, Rowan and His Mate Joey, was featured in the annual Australian Better Read Than Dead Anthology 2021. A Second Chance for the Poteros is one of her whimsical Save the Animals short stories. A New Way of Living is one of her social satires. And About Our World Without Credit Cards. Both were selected for the Cyclamen and Swords Journal in 2013. She has written 3 creative narrative novellas. 2 have earned her cash prizes. My Dad is a Marvelous Mosaic. And With Every Breath, which is about her struggle, success, and celebration of her double lung transplant journey. Writing at least 4 hours a day, it's no wonder. She wrote 30 short stories and 3 novellas between 2013 and 2021. Her favorite piece is her historical fictional trilogy novel, Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volumes 1, 2, and 3. She swapped her Australian beachside cottage for her 25-acre Jurassic-like rainforest, with its 550-meter or 3/4-mile dirt driveway, canopied with decades-old red cedar, giant tree ferns, and dense tropical flora kookaburra music, and not having any electrical power nor installed plumbing. The first 3.5 years made it live up to what she named it: Place of Peace. No wonder she didn't have a hint of writer's block. She finished that trilogy's first draft of 2,100 pages in just 19 months in 2003. But editing, revising, and polishing it meant 20 read-throughs. From 2017 to 2025 for 8 years. But she figures that's not as bad as it was for the bestseller author Hemingway. He wrote each of his novels at least 50 times. Joanne dabbles in many genres: historical fiction, multiculturalism, soul-searching, romance, communicating and bonding with nature, advocating for environmentalism through whimsical nature stories. With a BA in speech pathology, an MA in communicative disorders, a teaching credential, and the completion of 10 certificated courses, Joanne combined her academic background with helping people reach their highest potentials. As a speech pathologist, working in rehab, community health centers, and hospitals, helping newborns, young people, adults, and older people. She has been a preschool, primary, and secondary teacher, vocational trainer, counselor for disadvantaged families, and an employment case manager for adults with disabilities. Being Cherokee, Irish, German, Filipino, and American, she has a passion for promoting unity and diversity, advocating for a world free from racial, religious, age, gender, and socioeconomic prejudice. Outside of writing, she enjoys daily exercise and jogging, running in races, meditation, gardening, painting, and exploring the great outdoors through camping and hiking. Joanne is always up for adventure. She made Australia the new and forever home for her and her daughter in 1988. Her occupation, speech pathology, was on Australia's most wanted occupation list, gaining her and her daughter permanent residency, and later, their Australian citizenship. From 50 to 58, Joanne ran her EverFit fitness classes, and from 58 to 60, made another one of her dreams come true: She became a cowgirl or Jillaroo in outback Queensland. Since Australia became Joanne's home, she has lived in cities, by the sea, in rainforests, in the outback. She is currently living in a quaint town of about 300 in Tasmania, Australia. Readers say that Joanne's dedication to her craft and her vibrant personality shine through in her work, inviting readers to connect with her stories on a deeper level. Before I close, Joanne has a second YouTube. Its title is Remembrances and Reviews. She shares the heart-tugging story about her mentor or muse. And she shares some extraordinary readers' reviews of her Eagles of the Rainbow Forever Volume 1. And now, a final word from Joanne.
Thank you so much for your time and your interest in this YouTube that was entitled Joanne Galliher Reads Excerpts from Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1. And now, there's going to be another brief presentation, much briefer than the first one, and it's entitled Remembrance and Reviews. I really appreciate old Irish Tony. He was my mentor and my muse. And I think you will enjoy the warm story about this old Irishman. And oh my goodness, I really appreciate the very generous, extraordinary reviews that readers wrote for my Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1.
When Irish eyes are smiling, truth is like the morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish eyes are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. And when Irish eyes are smiling, sure they steal your heart away.
Aren't we so blessed because, fate brings us, actually, fate gifts us with life experiences and at least one ever so special mentor and muse. It's kind of like fate makes sure that we have our individual yellow brick road, kind of like Dorothy. Until I met old Irish Tony, I kept putting off my life's greatest writing dream, to write a dramatic, multi-genre, combined romance, action, communing with nature, soul-searching, history, and multiculturalism all in one novel, inspired by how my own real family, which is East meets West, being Cherokee, Irish, German, Filipino, and American, how my family raised me to live by unity in diversity. It was so important for me to write this novel. I think my ancestors were waiting for me to put pen to paper about our ancestral template for peace. My ancestors and myself, we don't see skin color. We see religion as belief in one God. We see wisdom is learned from young and old. Men and women need to be treated equally, and wealth should be measured in acts of kindness, and wealth shouldn't be hoarded. And so that's why I had to finally write this trilogy. Old Irish Tony, 13 years older than me. It was like, it seemed like my dad had sent him to me. Dad died in 1995, and I met old Irish Tony in 1997. As the Cherokees say then, Tony is like my second father, or like some people would refer to as a godfather. My dad made sure that there was somebody in this physical world to finish out his teaching to me. Tony's interesting. He immigrated twice in his life. When he was 40, he immigrated from Ireland to America. Then when he was 52, he immigrated from America to Australia. Why he left Ireland tells a lot about him. You see, what he endured in Ireland firmly planted in him his absolute creed that he would always live in harmony and not in hatred. One of our many evenings sitting by the campfire, with the peaceful serenade of frogs, crickets, and cicadas, Tony's voice quaked and tears filled his gray-blue eyes as he told me about one of Ireland's most tumultuous and frightening times. They called it the Troubles. It was at its peak of violence from 1968 all the way to 1998. There was a tenacious clash between those who were living in Northern Ireland. Some were Protestants or Unionists or Loyalists who wanted to remain part of the United Kingdom. The others were Roman Catholics or Nationalists or Republicans who wanted to become part of the Republic of Ireland. But old Tony, he just wanted to be Irish, to keep Ireland as its own sovereignty. But he saw no reason to fight or kill over that. His family's lives every day from 1968 to 1972 were overshadowed with hair-raising violent protests, lootings, shootings, bombings, and some bombs were even planted under target cars. Destruction was all around them. Fear consumed them, and things got worse as racketeering started. Then it was January 30th, 1972, deadly dubbed Bloody Sunday. Peaceful protesters were marching in Derry, Ireland, but the British paratroopers opened fire, killing 13 and injuring 14. As Tony said, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, they just wouldn't let up. I just had to take my family and flee. The next year, and all through 1998, those 2 digits deaths and 2 digits injuries spiraled to tens of thousands. He told me how he saw his own childhood Protestant friends when they held down his son's Catholic teacher, held her down on the sidewalk and shaved off all her hair. And then her Catholic husband and his friends did the same to a passing by Protestant young woman. I never saw Tony look so panicked. so urgent. He leaped to his feet, and through clenched teeth he said, "Do you know why I'm telling you all that?" Before I could answer, all of them shook. And with desperation, he said, "You were blessed to be born into an East meets West heritage. Your heritage takes up 3 continents. You're blessed to be raised without a hint of any prejudice." He stood up over me, and his words flew out ever so Irish. "Stop being an idiot, a dozer. Stop not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Your dad, your mom, all your Cherokee, Irish, German, Filipino, and American ancestors, aye, especially your Irish ones, are screaming at you. Stop stalling the ball, as we Irish say. Stop putting it off. Write a novel about real peace, like your parents taught you. How skin color, choice of religion, a person's age, aye, whether a man or a woman, or rich or poor, there tain't no need for such prejudices." And like it said here, I woke up at the crack of dawn with a kookaburra sounding off. And straight away, I got up and I made my writer's desk. I found some iron bark stumps and some boxwood tree bark, and I put together my desk, and 19 months later, the first draft of Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, volumes 1, 2, and 3, a mammoth like 3,000 pages, was done. Yeah, there wasn't a split second of writer's block. My 25-acre Australian rainforest was the very best writer's office and home a person could ask for. And it only had electricity way down its 550-meter or 3/4 mile long dirt driveway. Yeah, electricity. I couldn't afford electricity except for at the start of the property near the road. It took me 3.5 years to save up enough money to buy 10 telegraph poles and afford an electrician to get power down that 550-meter or 3/4 mile long driveway to the shed house. So I hired a portable or construction site office and placed it right there where I had the electricity at the start of the property. But you know, it felt so serene, soothing, and so inspiring to only use kerosene lanterns at the shed house and to cook on the campfire and bake in a cast iron camp oven down at the shed house. There was a shower up there. It was made by my other good friend, Bushy Pete. Yeah, it was just one of those solar-heated water camp bladders, you know? And yeah, so, or sometimes I just had a nice bath down at the creek. Oh, the tales old Irish told by so many of our evening campfires. Like back when he lived in America, and he was the equivalent of a Boy Scout leader, but that was for the Winnebago tribe, teenage boys, the Native American tribe called Winnebagos. How he lifted their self-confidence, but more importantly, their self-belief. He lifted their confidence higher than an eagle could fly, just like he did for me. They appreciated and loved him so much. They honored him by making him a very intricate headdress and warrior's bone chest plate. Yeah, my dad, he made sure old Irish Tony and I met after he had been in heaven for just 2 years. I was 46. It was 1997. And I met Tony. After my 22 years as a speech pathologist, teacher, and case manager, it dawned on me. I could hear Dad saying, "Are you trying new things? Are you taking on new challenges? Are you still feeding your self-belief and self-confidence?" So I became a training support officer, or TSO, for 150 adults who had moderate to severe intellectual disability at the Endeavor Foundation's Timber Products Factory. Yeah, the job was training support officer, TSO, but the production manager wanted me to be a TOB, kind of a tit on a bull, just someone wearing girly dresses and even high heels, and just keep, the workers' behaviors in line. Like I was some sort of school principal or school counselor. Nah, more like a behavior babysitter. But Tony, he was the foreman, and he believed in me. Work started at 8 a.m., but Tony met me at the factory at 4 a.m. for 4 weeks. And he turned me from someone who could barely hammer a nail straight into someone who could safely and accurately operate dozens of hand and power tools and dozens of big timber manufacturing machines. Oh, what a feeling it was helping the intellectually disabled adults build their work skills while building their workplace ethics, and most importantly, facilitating their self-belief. Tony, the 150 supported workers, and I worked in this U-Butte brand new factory that cost $3 million to build. And in there, 300 plus stunning timber products were each manufactured where it was only the hands of the timber machinists. They only took responsibility for 25% of each product being built, because that way the supported workers, the intellectually disabled adults, could feel proud that they made 75% off their own hands of each product. Now, we had like 300 or so individual kinds of products. Yeah, some were as small as spice racks and miter boxes, small things like that, bread boxes, and we went all the way up to making furniture. But Tony, gosh, he was so clever. He wanted to make sure the workers did make 75% of each product that came off the assembly line. So he made these special jigs so that those machines and everything were the safest and ensured that they could operate it with the best quality. One campfire evening, Tony told me all about the previous factory, the one before this U-Butte one. He told me how he wanted to go home early this one day. He just wanted to be with the love of his life, because she only had a few days of life left after fighting cancer for years. Tony was 58 at the time, and he desperately needed a knee replacement. But guess what? He single-handedly rescued 85 of the 150 intellectually disabled adults from a massive fire. It took all of the 11 much younger machinists to rescue the remaining 65. But when Tony got home, the love of his life was dead. Tony really loved visiting me at my rainforest haven and home that I named Place of Peace. So I scored him a very used caravan, and he ended up living in it for 1.5 years of the 5 years that I was there. I think he must have read at least one novel a week, and he always got his books from the town library. And then I gave him a spiffy kit with assorted wood carving knives and chisels, because he hadn't carved since he had left Ireland. And there wasn't any shortage of dead ironbark, eucalyptus, boxwood, and red cedar. With the 25 acres just that, a dense rainforest, there was an awful lot to get established to make it home when I first got there. I had to barter with excavators and shed builders and whatnot. Now and then I'd hint to Tony to help me. And you know what he always would say? "What are you, some doily? Hey, I turned you into a timber machine operator. I taught you how to use all the hand tools. To be sure, you can do it yourself." Even if you're an old fart, I was only 49. And so with Dad looking down from heaven and Tony hanging over my shoulder, but obviously not lifting a finger to help because he believed in me, I got to do cool things like move gigantic boulders to make a center garden and to make a permanent campfire under my big attached and covered patio or veranda, hauling up rocks from my creek and mortaring them together. And that's where I did 98% of my cooking. Yeah. Then I walled in a bathroom and framed a used bathtub. And I even dug a dunny or an outhouse. And yep, I left one wall off to serve as nature's bathroom fan. Every night I'd stroll up that long driveway where there was some electricity, where I was doing my writing, and I always brought back about 50 or more pages. No TV, no stereo, no radio those 3.5 years, because there wasn't any electricity at the shed house. Just evening after evening with tall tale telling by campfires, and of course, reading pages that I'd written that day. Old Irish Tony and I had this really fun and creative joint project. We made my family's totem. Yeah. We dragged this gum tree's trunk up from the creek. It was a good 1/4 mile from the shed. And Tony spent 18 months hand carving it and hand chiseling it, not once using a power tool. And I painted it. And then when I left Place of Peace, I started moving around, headed out to outback Queensland and ended up in Tasmania. And then in 2021, I'd had it stored, in Queensland, and I decided to give it to a very dear friend who lived in a rainforest on the Sunshine Coast. And then my sweet dear friend, mentor and muse, old Irish Tony, headed to heaven. November 22nd, 2005. Yeah, he joined these two other Irishmen that are also my heroes and muses. My dad, who headed to heaven November 11th, 1995, and President John F. Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. Isn't it amazing that all three of them headed to heaven in the month of November? But you can bet I absolutely know they are with me all the time. I can feel them with me all the time. And I'm so blessed to have that feeling. And now, here are some ever so generous readers' reviews. These very kind people wrote some reviews that just blew my mind. They wrote these reviews for my first edition, in 2011 of Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1. Since then, I have rewritten it 20 times. It's pretty much the same, but it's got an extra 200 pages of some spellbinding scenes and exciting plots. So this is the reviews from those lovely readers.
Joanne, you are an awesome writer. I'm halfway through the book and I am totally mind-blown. I can't wait to finish it. If the rest is as good as the 250 pages I've read so far, I can see it as a major motion picture in a Dances with Wolves sort of epic. I'm hoping that everything clicks in place to guarantee you great success with this. And I don't see why not. Thank you very much and thanks for blowing my mind with this incredible story. Hector Tellez, USA.
This book has been beautifully written and has captured me right from the beginning. I find it difficult to be enthralled by some books. But this novel has captured my senses, heart and soul. What a wonderful novel, and I would recommend this to anyone who likes reading. What an author in the way she has captured the ability to visualize the story. Made me feel part of the book. This does not often happen when I read novels. But has truly happened here. All I can say is amazing writing. My copy of this book will be treasured always and reread many times, I am sure. It takes pride of place on my bookshelf and have recommended it to my friends. Bring on more books like this. Just amazing. Zoe Tapley, Australia.
Truly a magnificent and inspirational novel. This reader literally melted into each page, each scene. The smells, the crispness of morning dew, the awe of dawn and dusk. All the while experiencing such an array of powerful emotions, so carefully telling an amazing multicultural story. But moreover, underscoring the main theme for the unity of mankind, two-leggeds. Anger, sorrow, love, passion, suffering, and even hatred were genuinely felt throughout this novel's journey. And yet harmony pulsated all through it. Joanne's writing helped me feel a great reverence for the Great Spirit, God, Mother Earth, animal medicine, thunder, and family. This novel is truly a wonderful and passionate work of art. Shane Murphy, USA.
Very creative in its narration. Beautifully written. Joanne has a real way of putting into words truth, sorrow, happiness, and love. Ultimately, it is a story of family, love, and loyalty. And as the reader, I felt a strong sense of place and time. It is moving and a credible story. Kudos to you, Joanne. A great read. Paulette Fletcher, USA.
The book is great. I have been drawn into the lives of these characters and have enjoyed experiencing the ups and downs. The pictures you are able to paint with your words. My imagination seems to know just what to show my inner eye after I read a passage from the book. The book's message demonstrated the benefits of shedding one's prejudices and accepting people for who they are, and for what they bring to your own place of peace. The vitriol evident in every facet of today's society. The us and them definitions cry out for a message exactly contained and illustrated in this book. I hope all who read it take away a little more tolerance and acceptance for all their fellow human beings. Bravo, Miss Galliher. J. Canselmo, USA.
What a mind you must have to encompass such a broad spectrum of subjects in one book. Absolutely amazing. All my senses are awakened. You may have gathered that I have finished reading your book in 2 nights, and I will read again soon. This is a story that people, young or old, regardless of race or gender, should read. Rowan Toohey, Australia.
Thank you so very much for your time and being a part of the launch of my novel. It means so much to me. It really does. Thank you so much. And Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volume 1, is on Amazon. And not too far off, so will be Eagles of the Rainbow Forever, Volumes 2 and 3.